This is video number 4 for workshop number 3, and we are going to dig a little bit deeper into the most important skill that you need, or key skill that you need to become an excellent employee, and that is adding value to everything that you do. I am that kind of person who I will do everything I possibly can in every situation to give it my all to do the best that I can. I had great parental role models. My parents had that kind of attitude, and every job I've had, no matter what it is, and I've had some pretty horrible jobs on production lines, generally kind of the worst jobs that I've had, but I've still given it my all, because you get out of life what you put into it. Have you ever thought how much it actually costs to keep you employed? There's not just the cost of your wage or your salary, but there's all the insurance costs, the healthcare costs, all of those things, the cost to keep you in the building, if you have a phone, if you have a laptop, all of those costs. So the most important thing that you do every single day is add value to your job, because not only have you got to cover the overheads of just employing you, but you've got to add value so that your position becomes indispensable to the company. And if you can keep that at the back of your mind, that you're not entitled to your job, that you have to justify your job, it makes everything easier, and it allows you to go just that little bit extra. So how can you add value to your job? The easiest way is to look at your job and to do a mind flush on everything that you currently do and how you could do it better. So I like to list all the things that I do right now, and then I think, what could I do better? Do I need more training? How can I get this done quicker? That's a great way to ask. Now, not quicker so you can get it rushed off your plate and off your to-do list and doing, a poor job of completing it. How can you do it quicker? By streamlining the process, by laying out the process, figuring out what's slowing you down, and making an action plan to improve the process. And then the other thing is, do you actually have to do this? In every job, there are redundant pieces of paperwork that you fill out, redundant screens in online programs, redundant reports that you create that nobody ever looks at. Look at all of those things, list them out, and decide what you do right now, what you could do better, and what you really don't need to be able, you don't actually need to do. So that allows you to decide how you can add value to your job each day. Because when you do a great job every day, you go home feeling amazing. Everybody's worked for someone who doesn't appreciate them. I've had lots of bosses who I just didn't fit with, and I went to work every single day with the best attitude that I possibly could. If I tell you that I had a boss who used to throw things at me in meetings just because my responses are not particularly quick, that tells you the kind of places that I've worked. And I just accepted it. I accepted that he had all kinds of problems, and if it made him feel better to throw something at me, they were big things. But every day, what could I do to do the best job that I could? Not because my boss cared, but because it made me feel good. Because on those days when you go home and everything went wrong, maybe it's one of those bad days, that now life's 50-50, you accept you're going to have bad days, and you don't get very much accomplished. Nobody else knows, but and it's not a good feeling. So you want to add value because you want to make yourself proud, not because anybody else expects it. Because ultimately, if you don't add value, it is not your boss's fault because he hasn't got you training. It's not your co-worker who's inefficient's fault. It is your fault because you haven't identified and justified how you could do your job better. So take back the power, decide what you need to do to add value every day, because people appreciate it. If you think about those employees that you've worked with who maybe move on to another job, and then before you know it, someone else from the company has left to go with them, and that's because that employee was valued. They added value in this job, someone saw that value and wanted them to go elsewhere. So even if your current boss and your co-workers don't appreciate you, do it because it makes you feel proud.